Hello, people YouTube, and I realized I forgot to tell you what my next review was, but I'm about to show you right now. That is a movie that's essentially my childhood, and I saw it, and I was just like, I have to get this. It is, oh man, the Spongebob Squarepants Movie. This isn't the new movie. I have that as well, but that won't come till much later. So, yeah. So, backstory. So when this movie was coming out, SpongeBob was like at, some would say, the peak of his popularity, like his highest of highs, because the show was doing so well, selling so much merchandise and everything, and everyone loved it because it was really good. Had great writing, great characters, some and if you watch, and me being older, if you watch like the older seasons now, there's like so many jokes like you don't get as a kid, but then you watch back, and then you're just like, oh, that's clever. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff, and there's a lot of stuff in here as well because it's made by Steven Hillenberg. This like, see, this was supposed to be the season finale in a way, but the Nickelodeon wanted more episodes because the series got more popular. So Steven Hillenberg, he left us the showrunner, and then brought in Paul Tibet, who's ran the show ever since. Or I think someone else took over, but I'm not sure. Anywho, so yeah, a lot of hype for this movie. And I'm about to explain this plot. You can see SpongeBob's face and Plankton, so that's nice. So I'm about to read you this little thing. Dive into a comedy adventure that's bigger, better, and more absorbing than the rest. The movie debut of the undersea sensation SpongeBob SquarePants. There's trouble bubbling up in Bikini Bottom. King Neptune's crown is missing, and Mr. Krabs has been accused of stealing it. Together with his best pal Patrick, SpongeBob sets out the treacherous Shell City to reclaim Neptune's crown and save Mr. Krabs in a spectacular adventure filled with over-the-top under-the-sea action and non-stop laughs. So, yeah, the plot is, well, it doesn't really follow the show. It goes its own little route. I mean, it has a much bigger budget than the show. In the beginning of the movie, you have SpongeBob, he's like, he thinks he's gonna get be a manager. So he's just like this guy. He's just like all freaking out in panic mode because there's no cheese on his Krabby Patty, and I'm just like, come on, man. It's not that big a deal, and there's like police cars and everything. It's so ridiculously over the top. Then SpongeBob realizes that's a dream. Then he gets ready, talks to Squidward, his friend Patrick, and then he thinks he's gonna get the manager position because there's a Krusty Krab 2. I believe this is the only time in this entire series that's ever mentioned. I think this is the only movie where there is a Krusty Krab 2. And then want to know why a Krusty Krab 2? Well, Mr. Krabs says it best. One word. Money. Because the more money he makes, the happier he is. Clearly. So, there's that. SpongeBob doesn't get it. Because he's just a kid. And he's all sad. And then he's like, they go to Gooby Goopher's. Basically an ice cream place. Sort of like an ice cream place of Chuck E. Cheese. Like a Chuck E. Cheese-esque place. And they literally, I'm not kidding, they get drunk, straight drunk off of ice cream. I'm just like, I never knew that was possible. That's fantastic. You get drunk off of ice cream and then they go on a huge hangover. I mean, they don't go on that much of a hangover, not like the movies. But, yeah. But then there's also Plankton. Plankton wants to do Plan Z, the most evil plan of all time, clearly. And his plan revolves around stealing the crown from King Neptune. It's not the same King Neptune that was in the show. It's a different one. Then he has his daughter, Mindy, voiced by Scarlett Johansson. So that's nice. That's a thumbs up for me. So Plankton steals it and accuses Krabs. And then, King Neptune, he's all triggered about it. And then SpongeBob says SpongeBob and Patrick have to go get the crown, 6 days. Yes, 6 days. Go on a little road trip adventure in the Patty Mobile. Basically, a sandwich with wheels. So that's pretty awesome. And then they go on their adventure. When they're back at Bikini Bottom, Plankton's using this to get money for the chum bucket. And everyone gets these chum bucket hats. Basically bucket hats. And then they all turn to mind control. And then they all turn to basically zombies. And Squidward tries to stop him, but he gets trampled. And now all Bikini Bottom is just filled with these bucket heads. And I swear, in the new Saw movie, Jigsaw, which I will see opening day, there's the trap where they have these buckets on their heads, and they're it's sort of like a trap from Saw 5. But it looks so similar to this movie, I could not help it. I was just those are straight from this movie. Come on. Anywho, SpongeBob and Patrick go on their own quest. They go to a little, a bar. I guess. But then Plankton sends a little assassin. Dennis was by I believe it's Alwick Baldwin. So another thumbs up. And then Dennis is just goes through everything in his path. And it's great. And then SpongeBob and Patrick, they lose Patty Mobile after a while because they have to. They believe there's an old lady selling ice cream in the middle of nowhere. And then one of the best jokes of the entire movie happens because there's a bunch of bones and skulls everywhere. So Patrick, he's wait a minute, SpongeBob! And SpongeBob's yeah. And then Patrick's just baked butter chocolate. I died laughing. I was wow. That was fantastic. That was so good. And then it turns out the old lady's just the bit of the tongue of a monster. And then, the monster, eats Patty Mobile, and then the monster gets eaten by a bigger monster. So they want to go back, and Mindy's just no, you have to keep going forward because you're men, and gives them the fake mustaches. So they believe they're men. And then they go through all these monsters, and then they have a whole big song, now that we're men, and whatnot. And then they eventually, took them a while, they eventually made it to Shell City. They find out it's a gift shop, and then they're literally gonna turn into, because there's the Cyclops, basically a guy under there, just walking, I guess trying to find sea creatures so he can put in his little gift shop. And then you think SpongeBob, Patrick are dead. Oh, I also forgot. There's so much to talk about in this movie. It's a beginning. The beginning. It's a whole bunch of live action pirates, and they want to see the movie. And then in this moment, they're all crying, and then it's the tears from the. They said the tears from the Gooby Goobers, because best friends. And then they're alive. Then they escape. And then they're just wait, what are we going to do? How are we going to get back there? Because they had a bag of wind. And then Patrick let it go accidentally. So that's a problem. Then they meet one of the greatest cameos of all time. You have David Hasselhoff out of nowhere, just going along and just helps him out, and it's just like it's just so random. It's great. But then Dennis comes along, tries to kill him, but then he ends up kicking the bucket, and then SpongeBob and Patrick, they go back to Bikini Bottom and realize bunch of bad things. So they go to King Neptune. Well, yeah, King Neptune. They give him the crown, but then he's controlled by the Buckethead. Plankton thinks he's won. And then SpongeBob, just out of nowhere, just goes basically a music version, this music Super Saiyan, and just delivers like the greatest Guitar Hero song of all time. And then it ends up like helping it, because he has like a guitar and it shoots like lasers, and then it shoots like all the bucket heads from everybody. And it's like a whole big song, and it's so ridiculous. That's why it's great. That's why it's fantastic. And then Plankton, he loses, he gets trampled, and then everything's all back to normal. That's the whole movie in a nutshell. I mean, I've seen this movie so many times. I know basically everything. So what do I think? Are you kidding? I give... This movie's fantastic. It's phenomenal. I already said it was my childhood, so... Yeah. Characters are all great. I mean, this movie's so... I mean, if you're an adult who hasn't seen the show, you're gonna think, man, this is so stupid. But you kind of have to watch the show in order to get, a lot of, the characters and whatnot. I mean, it's not a necessity, but it'd be nice to do. I mean, the plot, it's like your typical road trip buddy movie, but it's done in a way with SpongeBob characters that makes it hilarious. The jokes, these jokes are gold. They're golden. This movie's comedy gold. It's much better than a lot of comedies that have come out in recent memory. It's better than like Boo 2 that came out this past week. I'll never review that. I'm probably never going to review any Tyler Perry movies because they're all just kind of... So, yeah. I mean, this movie is just so fun to watch. I mean, it's a blast, honestly. And I'm going to give it 9 out of 10. Some people will think, that's way too high. Well, that's my thoughts on it, because I grew up with this movie. So it's kind of a special place in my heart. And so, yeah, I'll give this 9 out of 10. If you're a SpongeBob fan, you will love this movie to death. I do. So, yeah. 9 out of 10. I highly recommend to any SpongeBob fan. Basically, anyone can watch this movie. It's really for like almost all ages. Mostly kids. And whatnot. So, yeah, this movie is fantastic. 9 out of 10. Let's go. So, that's that. So make sure to subscribe, like this video, leave a comment, and I guess I'll see you next time. And also, I guess I have to tell you what my next review is now, or get a hint. Well, I already said I'm going to be seeing Jigsaw this Friday on the 27th. And on that review, on that day, I'll be doing another Saw movie. So I've done 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All that's left is 1, 7, and Jigsaw. So Friday will be the first movie, the original. And then on Halloween, which will be on a Tuesday, is going to be Saw 3D or the final chapter, last chapter, whatever. So, yeah. So, see you next time. I am out.